Hey, all right, hey guys, it's Jason Wampler, your host, Rocket Minute. All right, so here we're gonna make some modifications to this coupler. Folks, when you're building your own rocket, sometimes you have to shim things up or fabricate things until you can find the ideal type of material serves as coupling material. This stuff was close, but it's not all the way there, so I'm having to shim it up. Really thin mill white duct tape. I got this red duct tape. I actually found it. Somebody left a big old roll of thick mill red duct tape on top of one of the parking posts near the driveway of my apartment complex, and I just said, well, somebody just put it there because there's a lot of my neighbors that they work the trades, and I'm thinking, well, it's somebody who works in cabinets or electrical. Like I do some electrical repair myself. And so they just left it there temporarily. They're going to come back and pick it up. Well, I saw it there. Well, I saw it the next day, and I knew a lot of people had passed it. Nobody picked it up. So I decided to be a good resource for assisting me in building rockets, and I took it, and so far it is. I'm not entirely sure how this is going to turn out, but I want to show you what I'm doing and why I'm doing it. So pay close attention. Class has begun. This is more like we're getting closer and closer to the beginnings of these classes. Actually this is a class. I've got this plus 4 other rockets I'm working on, but what I'd really like to do with things really get up and going is when I bring a bunch of materials home, I show you how to fabricate and fit, select, fabricate and fit the right materials for the right job. Subsonic rockets, transonic rockets go fast as sound speed, level 1 rockets, and an attempt at a level 2 rocket. I still don't have my level 2 certification. I feel kind of like a hypocrite, but anyway, by saying that, excuse me, I'm still fighting a cold, but I'm showing what I'm going to do. And for this exercise, I'm actually going to shoot a couple of 30-minute videos because I'm going to be block sanding, cleaning up this particular section of the fuselage right here. You can see it's shiny. I want to get it to a sanded, matte, mostly opaque surface like this right here with my fingers on. So I'm having a lot of issues doing this camera, so please bear with me. Production value of these videos is going to improve drastically once I get a sponsor. Hint, hint. So this is another episode of the Rocket Minute with Jason Wampler and all that good stuff. All right, so let me show you what I've started, what I'm doing, and why I've started doing it. This little white bucket, square bucket is here to turn out. I'm gonna cut this long axis, probably about 1 inch wide, a little under 1 inch, maybe like 15/16 or 7/8, and be sure to keep it as straight as I possibly can. And again, folks, when you're building your own rocket, you don't want it to look like a Holy Hillbilly Deluxe, a bunch of milk cartons stapled and taped to each other. You do want to have the appearance of finesse. You want your rocket to look somewhat savvy. I've cut that along the long axis. And just short of the edge here, actually, for this application, I don't want to cut into my thumb. Retract that blade and use a pair of sewing scissors. Again, I'm not entirely sure if I mentioned this before. These scissors are available at Harbor Freight for $2. But the funny thing is, you can also get almost the same exact pair for the same exact price at the 99-cent store. Harbor Freight is a little ways away from me. It's on State College Boulevard in Anaheim. However, there's my goodness, who did I say? There is a Walmart. Yeah, I think that sounds the same as these. I have an interesting stories. I have a lot of stories about Walmart. It's a great place, but you gotta know how to navigate it. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use I can't use a razor. It's too close to the edge. So here's what I'm going to do. Watch very, very closely. This will enable me to use the other half of this piece on the other side. That's not going to be a perfect cut. You peel that off, Hopefully it cut all the way through. And look at that, it did. Let me see. Okay, and then I made an asymmetrical piece that I can put on the other side. When I draw diagrams, I want to show you why you cut shim strips thick or thin. It has to do with the amount of circumference around the tube that the shim comes. When you're close, but you know one more winding is going to make it too fat or too tight of a fit, one less winding is going to make it unfit. Well, then this is what you have to do to balance things out. This would constitute about probably a little bit less than 38% of the total overall circumference. And the reason I'm trying to explain things that way is because if you go full circumference and one more wrap, when the coupling is loose and you have to shim it with the electrical tape or the duct tape, then you're going to have a fit that's too tight. It may go on tight, but guess what? Coming off that part of the material may be barbed, or you may have forced it in and it's caused it to be tight seal. Now it has vacuum pressure holding it together, not to mention the friction between the shim material and the coupling and the inner diameter, the main body tube itself. Be careful. I've made every mistake there is to possibly make, and I'm telling you how not to make them. You don't need mistakes. You don't need a crashed rocket. You don't need to experience anything bad. Just listen to other people and their experiences of all the things they did in their ignorance. So kind of angle this in, go towards the edge here, try to get that off. It's not all coming off. It's not perfect. I'm gonna block sand this. This is actually kind of a good luck stroke on my part. I'm not necessarily the sharpest tool in the shed. Let me check the fit though. And I'm thinking I'm gonna sand the end of this. The thinner these shim strips go, the closer it'll get you to a tight fit. It's not absolutely ideal to do things this way, but you can't control the difference in the gap between the coupling material, which I'll show you how to get, and this material. So as a consequence, you have thicker tape that's taking up percentages. You have 15% to go, but the tape is 20% thicker. So somehow you just have to figure out how to take the tape down to 15% so it fits just right, or 12%. You want a little bit of looseness, and you have to calibrate how much looseness you want based on the application. So it's kind of an engineering feat. And I'll be really honest with you. You do have to have some mechanical or fabrication experience. You do have to have some machining experience, but the rewards are just off the chart. If you're able to make your own rocket, make it look good, and fly it, and recover it properly, you literally will be on top of the world. It is one of the single greatest senses of accomplishment and satisfaction I think any human being on this planet can extract, aside from being a professional football player or somebody who invents a cure for cancer. Yeah, kind of extreme examples, and I certainly don't make as much the cancer surgeon or football player does. Let me check the fit. And these edges are kind of hanging out, so this is going to be a little tough. Yeah, that's what I thought. Hold on. Okay, so I'm having some problems fitting these edges. So I don't know. The tape wants to bend upward and hang up the slide-on process. It's very, very important that these edges be square sanded. You clean up the excess tape. Let me get that over there on the way. And see what I'm saying? Let me try the other end. See where we got right there. Yeah, the problem is it'll fit on fine, but I don't know because this end is bolting up and sticking to the tube. So I've got to go ahead and square sand this. So why don't we come on over here and we'll do that. My square sander is actually set up, but I have to move my camera to that part of the workshop, which is my one-bedroom apartment in Fullerton. I'm here. I'm going to turn on the light. I'm kind of worn out. I don't think I've had a real meal yet today, and I think I need to eat fairly soon. So you can see that. Let's start running the water. The funny thing is, these things are wet dry sanders, but the bearings aren't sealed. So if you get a chance, buy yourself a $4 or $5 or $6 container of lubricant. Lubricate the bases of your box sander in between the shimming moving base. Try to get it to drop on the center, middle, top of this moving plate. That's where the bearing is. And see if you can get oil to get there. These bearings take a real beating. But in addition to that, these sanders are supposed to be wet, dry sanders. Even if it's electric, it's double insulated. So, but the bearings shouldn't be wearing out. I tried to start this the other day, turned it on, and made a loud buzzing sound, which means the motor, I'll turn the water off, the motor was hung up. I said, well, I knew I'd been using it, rinsing it under the water. Fullerton's tap water quality is not the best, but that's kind of the complaint with tap water everywhere else. I won't say anything, but it hung the bearing up. So let's plug this thing in and see what it does now. And I'll show you how to deal with that too. In addition to spraying some type of lubricant, penetrant lubricant on it, you can also just let the current keep flowing until this tool actually starts. I don't necessarily recommend it for everyone. That was my fault. I didn't know it was turned on. I should have known that. Okay, so it didn't do it. It's making a loud rasping noise. I didn't take this apart, get in there, and really clean this thing up and lubricate it because it's making a really, really loud, obnoxious rasping noise. That means it's metal on metal. There's no lubrication in there. It's not supposed to sound like that. But I'm going to square sand the edge of this and get this hangover tape so it doesn't curl backwards. The adhesive side starts sticking to the motor tube. Excuse me, the body tube. Here we go. Turn the water back on. Wet the subject down. There you go. Okay, well, it's not cleaning up quite as well as I thought it would. I might have to clean it up with a razor blade. I just don't want it to hang up when I flip the coupling over it. I kind of do think this looks a little it looks snazzy. But let me clean this up. I clean that up as well. This red tape is from a different source. It's not from the 99-cent store. As I mentioned before, I actually found it. Nobody laid claim to it, so they just wanted to give it away, I guess. Okay, and you know what? I can just stay working out here. I don't need to watch the movie. I can always hit the rewind on the DVD. And then I'm waiting for you to catch that one. That was a joke. Don't rewind DVD. Hold on a second, I'll be right back. So here we go, folks. I just want to make this edge a little cleaner, so like I said, that the adhesive portion of this red tape does not hang up on the This stuff is not cooperating very well. You know, I'm not really using this tape according to its intended purpose, so of course it is going to give me problems. Then I understand that's something you run into when you're building rockets out of materials that aren't weren't originally designed to be used in building rockets. Then of course you are going to come into these issues. That's where your intrepid spirit as a rocketeer, an engineer, and scientist come in. And I'm hoping the people that watch this channel want to wise up and get that smart. Yeah, boys and girls alike. I mean, we need aerospace industry. We need women just as much as we need men helming things up technologically. So you keep that in mind. You ladies, get out of your own way. If your family is telling you it's not proper for a woman to be an engineer, I just don't know what to do. I tell you that you might want to consider breaking the tradition. So that doesn't, to me, that just doesn't make any sense. Women are just as smart as men, if not smarter. So, yeah, I mean, it's something. And men are smarter than women in some things as well. But, you know, I've encountered women who are very, very capable at industrial design engineering. They're incredibly talented, and they're very good in their hands, and they're very, very illiterate when it comes to working in a shop. And I've looked at them, I respect women like that. I respect anybody like that. You don't have to be a woman, but it is uncommon. It's not something you see all the time. A woman who knows her way around a machine shop is something that boys will definitely respect. So you might want to keep that in mind too. Okay, so now I'm going to check the fit, but I'm also going to take this opportunity since I'm in here, just to check the fit. Well, I'm going to go ahead and just go ahead and sand this particular section of the fuselage. However, I'm thinking as well, I was promising myself I was going to cut down both ends because the rocket is a little bit on the long side. I talked originally about proportions. Let me talk about the skin with the water off. Proportions is something that's too long and thin. You're going to have a difficult time maintaining its structural integrity, long axis, before it becomes too flexible. There are reasonable proportions for how long and thin a rocket should be within reason, unless there's extensive research and development in the area of materials, stuff that's thin and strong, thin and light and strong at the same time. The stronger and lighter the material, the better for any aerospace application. But it's a matter of developing these materials, actually getting to the point where you develop working materials. I have all the ideas in the world. I just don't have the means. I'm very, very cash poor. Money is not my main priority, but I got to tell you what, I sure would have a really nice shop, and these videos would be going on day in and out. Yeah, I wouldn't be using a phone. I'd be using a tablet to do videos. Have my own studio set up. A studio would also be the workshop. I want you to see everything that's involved. It's a lot of fun. But, you know, you have to have a passion and talent for this. It's very involved. Pottery, for example, making ceramics and pottery. I knew an individual, I don't know his name. I don't remember his name. But the guy is just off the scale when it comes to making pottery and custom dinnerware. He just knows what he's doing. He has a knack for it. Randy Al, I used to be a car repair customer of mine. He's the same way. But when he became a teacher, he took a steady job and got his license to be a teacher. So he started making more money that way. I've since broken out of contact, and it's probably with Randy Al, it's probably been 25 plus years. But it's been 20 plus years. He's a really long time. He's a really nice guy, but he's kind of fed up with me always rescheduling appointments. And I just did it one too many times and decided not to do business with me. I understand. I actually respect him for that. So Randy, if you see these videos, I just want to take a shout out to you and tell you I still consider you a friend. I'm no longer repairing cars. I'm building experimental model rockets, experimental rockets, high power rockets. This center section is going to be fairly heavy. It's already heavy enough as it is. Strong and heavy is a good thing. It's strong, but it's heavy. Okay, so we're going to wipe this off. You know what? I have neglected to bring several tools. I need to go out to my vehicle, which is half a mile away, down the middle of a very, very long, thin apartment complex across the street, and I don't want to break the video trying to do that. The problem is I need it because I'm going to trim this section and I'm going to trim the other section, and I'm going to do that before I start sanding down anything. So let me just check initially, see how well this is going to work out. Again, I'm having a feeling I'm still going to have trouble with it. This duct tape is of a different constitution. Hey guys, what you might want to try instead of colorized duct tape, again, because I have limited access, I have limited funds, I'm getting paid a lot of money on Tuesday, and that will be my budget for the rest of this month and for March as well. But I have one thing that I'm selling on. I'm actually selling that 5-channel launch controller on OfferUp right now. It's already got like 79 views, but I need to put more pictures on it. I need to get those UPC stickers off it, and I think I need to lower the price. And I also want to contact Martin of CRA. The guy lives in Fullerton, Southern California Rocketry Association. I let my license run out. I am an official member. He does send me newsletters in my P.O. Box, Costa Mesa, from time to time. The gods don't want me to talk this much, I'm telling you. Okay, so let me check that and roll it. Okay, so now that's working out. You see, folks, there's a lot to it. I think I might shoot another brief, short video and explain to you the concept of shimming up a radius. And externally shimming up a radius. The external part of the radius is considered the male end. For sexual reasons, comparing a male's genitalia. But the male end is what it inserts in a hole, which is the female end. These are both considered radius. This is an internal radius. An internal diameter. That's an external diameter. I want to draw some diagrams and show and just explain the dynamics of shimming up an external radius for rocket building. The thing is, there's so much that I do. It's like a universal one size fits all. You can use this for shimming up other external diameters, or radius, or whatever the hell you want to call it. External circle shimming. The concept of using stuff that's thin versus thick, taking up very, very small speeds or spaces, and why you want to run with thinner and thinner long axis shims as you get closer and closer to the ideal fit, and the reason you want to do that. And I want to explain that concept. So as soon as this video, now we're now at 22 minutes, as soon as it uploads, that's going to be next to my video. I think I'm going to leave everybody alone when I do this side. I actually really like the way it looks too. I think it's nifty. This is going to serve as a coupling. This, of course, is going to house the electronics, microelectronics, which is the two separation pods, black powder separation pods, 2 bright neon smoke pods, which will be like a phosphorus coloring with with some type of slow burning sugar fuel, maybe 30% potassium nitrate and maybe 10% baking soda it's the other way around. Excuse me. 50% potassium nitrate, 10% baking soda, and 30% sugar. That it's like a sugar fuel, but it'll be slowed greatly. I'll just do a lot of smoking. It's going to generate a lot of heat. So, in honest to goodness truth, the other thing I'm going to have to figure out is how to heat shield this material. This material, I'm a hypocrite for saying this. I'm using this material. Actually, I'm a hypocrite for using the material. But I will tell you, this material does not hold up the separation charge heat. It will disfigure. But be very, very careful about how you build your rockets. I'm showing you a certain way to build your rockets so that you can use this thin line material. It's strong enough for a subsonic rocket and for long axis material up to a point. Again, talking about proportional ratios of width, length to width, width to length, length to width. There are specifications on the ratios that you should stick to, and I'm going to draw those. I'm going to write those down too once I figure them out. Also, I wanted to talk to you about, I know it's a little early to talk about center of pressure and center of gravity. Center of gravity is somewhat relatively simple, but there's a certain way to do it. Center of pressure is different. Center of pressure, I'm actually going to watch these resources myself because it's so complicated. A 24-year-old with a man with a PhD in mathematics, to him it's easy. To me, I find it very, very complicated. but it's systematic. It's just a very complicated system. It's not romanticized, mysterious. You're not good enough for it. You just go home and take a bunch of sleeping pills and be done with it and cry yourself to sleep, that sort of thing. I'm just kidding, don't do that. But math makes a lot of people cry. It makes me cry. I don't like math at all, but it's necessary. But finding the center of pressure is where the rocket balances as it's flying, as it's running through its flight. You don't want the rocket going a big loop, hit the ground at 700 miles an hour. You don't want it to cartwheel all the way out the pad until it spends its fuel. It's entertaining, but that's not what you want a rocket to do. So what I'm going to do in that regard is I'm going to locate, study some resources. I'm not really going to try and copy the material unless I feel comfortable with it. But instead, I'm going to go ahead and put a link to my shows, a link to those videos. That nice 24-year-old mathematics professor with a PhD explaining the process for section by section of any rocket, complicated or simple, finding its center of pressure. And as mentioned before, the center of pressure in each rocket, every rocket you build is critical. Okay, it's like running a marathon and remembering to tie your shoelaces. Things aren't, and keeping your shoes on your feet and making sure you're running with shoes where the soles aren't going to fly off. You're running a 20 kilometer marathon. That's important. Your shoes are critical. You cannot run a race without shoes. You cannot launch a rocket with incorrect CP either. It simply will not launch properly. Depending on its size, it's going to end up creating a catastrophe. And it might even actually endanger some of the participants at the rocket meet. So I'm kind of thinking I should pitch NAR and Tripoli about increased rocket safety. Some of these people climb, they're aerospace engineers at 10, they climb through the ranks so quickly, they get cocky. And then they start to build LDRS, large dangerous rocket ships, and they forget a couple of details, and all of a sudden the darn thing is a 300 or 400 pound rocket at 800 miles an hour, or a 300 pound rocket sailing at the ground at nearly 1,200 miles an hour, and nobody knows where it's going to hit. I mean, you might as well be hit by a missile from North Korea at that point. Now, there are checks and balances within Tripoli and National Association of Rocketry. National Association of Rocketry is arch conservative, so I don't think you'd ever see something like that happen at an army. But Tripoli is a little bit different. And my friend Andy Werner, he hasn't seen me in a long time, down in Dart, is a chapter of Tripoli called SCRA. It's Martin's Club. That's NAR. DART, Diego Area Rocketry Team, out of Placer City in San Diego County. Now, Andy Werner, I like him. He's a renegade. He's an outlaw. He's crazy. He tries a lot of non-conservative things. He even launched a 1/100th scale Russian N1, and the damn thing had the same problems that the original Russian N1 had. Didn't fly right, and blew all 16 of its motors out the bottom. Created a fire hazard. But the fact is, they all spit out of the bottom of the rocket and landed in the dirt, and the damn thing crashed and broke up into a bunch of pieces. So if it doesn't work in real life, it's not going to work as a model either. But, Andy likes to have fun. Real smart guy. I hope to see him again sometime in my lifetime. But, and I definitely want to go down to a Diego Area Rocketry training. I need to renew my licensing. I need to renew my membership with both NAR and Tripoli because I want as many opportunities as I can. But all things being equal, this is a success. We're going to call it at this point the 28-minute video. I tell you, time flies. I'm going to do this, same thing to the other side, and I'm going to clean these edges up and sand this down, and I'll be done with the coupler section for now. But this video is probably going to take about a day and a half to upload. My phone is really slow. When I start generating some more income, I'm definitely going to keep this phone. But I'm going to get myself a tablet, something with upload speeds that are at least 4 or 5 times faster. I need my videos to upload in a matter of hours, not days. So anyway, my name is Jason Wampler. This has been another brief episode, brief but exciting and fun episode of The Rocket Minute. You guys take care. Come on. I'm trying to get the thing to turn off.